All right, we are live. Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Any Given Sunday of Rob Liano on Camp Student Radio. That is KAMP 1570 AM in Tucson, Arizona, and streaming on camp.arizona.edu. I would also like to welcome those who are tuning in via Google Hangouts and the Armchair All-Americans. Today we have a very special discussion for you today, and in case any of you guys have been frozen in the block of ice for the last 6 months, hockey season has come and gone, and the Stanley Cup playoffs begins this Wednesday. Along with me here today are a few members of the Armchair All-Americans. So before we all begin, let us introduce ourselves, starting with your name and your favorite NHL team. So for example, my name is Rob Liano once again, and my favorite team is the San Jose Sharks.
All right, I'm Dan Fridella, and my favorite team are the New York Islanders.
Can
I'm
you repeat
Robert.
that again?
I'm Dan Fridella, and my favorite team is the New York Islanders.
And my name is Robert Fernandez. My favorite team is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
All right, so for discussion, I want to show a video. Robert, first, if you see a YouTube thing on your sidebar for Google Hangouts, go ahead and click that. We're going to play this video, and so we're going to play this. And if you can all hear it, then that'd be great. And if the audience you can't see it, then I'm going to post it in the description below. But let's just show this video. It's a fan-made video. I think it's awesome. Wow, that video. I think is just that totally embodies what the Stanley Cup playoffs is all about. Why don't I get your views on it, and then we'll go around and see. So let's start with you, Dan.
I mean, it gets you excited. Get ready to watch. Like, it's the hard hitting, goal scoring, sold out stadiums. It's nothing like it.
Yeah, I mean the sold out stadiums. You look at Winnipeg last year. There's something else. That whiteout, that fan support, the Patty Kane, heartbreaker celebration. That's all it is, man. That's the playoffs. It's a new season.
Absolutely, and one of the things I want to mention is in the beginning of that video, you heard the announcers say that there are 4 seasons in hockey. You got the preseason, the regular season, the first 3 rounds in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and then you got the final. So what I want to talk about, let's talk about that for a little bit. I totally agree with that. is when the Stanley Cup playoff starts, nothing else matters in the from the regular season, because literally it's a whole new season. Everything, you start from scratch. If you're a lower seed, literally that does not matter because you still have the same odds of winning than the top seed.
Yeah, Minnesota last year, they were the 4th seed, I think, in the new playoff format. They go out, they beat the Blues. They beat them in 6 games. You know, it's easy. It's sorry, not easy. It happens.
And also, there's another example. I think it was 2011 when during the old playoff format, when they went 1 through 8 in each of the conferences, you had the Vancouver Canucks. They were an 8 seed in the Western Conference, and then they beat every team in their way to go into the Stanley Cup Finals and reach Game 7 against the Bruins. That's totally speaks what the Stanley Cup playoffs is all about.
Yeah, and the Kings did it the next year, right?
Kings did do it the next year.
Got it as an 8, ran all the way through, and took it home.
Yeah, and they actually won too. So that's a perfect example. Like not to really make a comparison and bash another league in any way, but if you compare it to the NBA playoffs, which also starts pretty soon. There is a report, I forgot who said it, but they said that if your team was seeded below a 3 seed in the NBA playoffs, that you have a 2.29% chance of winning it all. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the NHL, I think only like 2 of the last 12 Presidents Cup winners have won it all.
Yeah, Washington they won the league.
Yeah.
5 or 6 years ago. They ended up getting knocked out by the number 8 seed Montreal.
Rangers won the league last year and didn't get to the finals.
Yeah, the competition it rises, it elevates it. It's something else in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, you got to play a team every other day for 2 weeks. Like, scouting reports don't matter at that point.
Oh, that's emotion right there.
Yeah.
It's all about, it ends up becoming all about heart, really. It's like, if you have the most heart going into this playoffs, then, like, the chances of you just keep going is just going to be higher.
Yeah, because every team's skilled, everyone's an NHL player, so it just matters really who's more physical in the playoffs.
Yeah, and if you look at the way LA plays, since 2012, they've been just their offensive zone pressure, the way they can control and just take over a game in the offensive zone on the power play. It's actually amazing to watch. They have so much talent there and so much skill and size to just help them out.
And also, just with the downtime between games being so short, like you play Monday, then you're playing on Wednesday. If you get beat up on Monday, you're not going to be the same on Wednesday.
No, 100%. 100%. That's why I think LA and teams, so teams like LA and teams like Anaheim, they can make a cup run because of their size and physicality.
Yeah, that's what makes the Caps dangerous this year. They finally have that.
Right, and their up front blue line, they play a hard nitty, just a physical presence at their defensive blue line.
Yeah, bringing in Justin Williams and Oshie just adds to it. Hope is the best goalie in the league now.
Yeah. Oh man, he takes over that crease.
All right, you guys good?
Yeah.
You guys good? We keep freezing up a little bit. Dan,
are you coming in?
Yeah, I'm in good, I think.
Yeah, I'm. Looks like my internet's okay too.
Yeah, you're definitely fine, Robert. I think I don't know, it might be mine. I'm connected to Wi-Fi right now. I do not have a hardwire connection available, but hopefully we can still make this work. Right? It seems like we're good right now. Okay. So let's actually just move on then. One of the first topics I want to get to is on injuries. I have like a whole list of injuries going on here. It's unbelievable how many injuries there are on different teams, and the main one right now is the Lightning. Like, let's talk about that for a sec. for example, we have like their big one right now is just came recently from last week when Stamkos got a blood clot surgery, out 1 to 3 months, on top of many other injuries from the Lightning. How will that affect those teams, especially the Lightning, going into the playoffs?
Well, I mean, on top of that, Tampa's without their top 3 scorers.
Tyler Johnson was just made unavailable a
Out,
couple days ago.
they're missing Kucherov, who's their leading scorer. Stamkos, second leading scorer. Hedman, third leading scorer. Strawman's been out, who's one of their top defenders. And, yeah, it just doesn't look good.
Yeah, going back to what you said, Dan, earlier, is that you're playing every other day, right? Not a quick turnaround to get better. So these guys are already banged up, even if they come back for the playoffs. Not going to take much for them to go out with an easy injury or like a concussion of some sort.
Yeah, even Callahan's out for the time being.
Yeah, and I think if you look at some of the other teams too that we want to maybe touch on, we have, like, for example, we talk about Pittsburgh, is they have that their two of their goalies are out, along with Evgeny Malkin, several other injuries. It's just unbelievable how many injuries there are in the rest of the league, and like a lot of them top scorers, top goalies. It's like, do you think a lot of these teams will still be able to endure without them?
I'd say a lot of teams can, but playing with a third-string goalie in the playoffs, that means you're calling someone up from the AHL who hasn't played all season. So that's going to be tough for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, especially if they get a matchup with the Rangers. Yeah, it's a third-string goalie going up against one of the best, Henrik Lundqvist, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to pick a goaltending matchup like that.
Oh, yeah. And that's a shame because the Penguins have been the hottest team in the league so far.
What have they won their last 8 games?
I think so, yeah. They lost to Philly yesterday, I think.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
They're on an 8-game win streak.
Yeah, I believe that was the game that gave Philly that final playoff spot.
Yeah. And Pittsburgh wasn't just winning; they were like blowing out playoff teams.
Yeah, just a week ago they beat Philly 6-2.
Yeah, I went to a game at Barclays Center last Saturday. They beat the Islanders 5-0.
Oh, that must have been fun to watch as an Islanders fan.
Not at all. And it was right after Fleury got hurt, so I was like, oh, we'll light him up. Didn't.
Oh. Didn't Kessel have like 5 points that game? Was it the Islanders? Him and Bonino both had 5 apiece. I think it might have been the Islanders.
I'm trying to think. I know there was a game Kessel had 2 goals like a few days afterwards.
He's been so hot, man.
Yeah. If they get Malkin back, they got to make it till mid-May.
Shit, that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's probably like a series, maybe 2 series at that point.
Yeah, it's probably the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right. Actually, one of the things I want to mention is but actually, like, before we even talk about, like, the rest of the playoffs, there's actually a couple actual games going on today that actually that still decide where the positioning is going to be in each of the in like one in the Western Conference and one in the Eastern Conferences. The one I want to mention is the Pacific Division. Right now, all the divisions have been really clinched, like the top seeds in each division, except for the Pacific Division. Last night, the LA Kings lost in overtime to the Winnipeg Jets, putting them only at 1 point ahead of Anaheim. And Anaheim has 1 game left against Washington. So it's 101-102. And do you think Anaheim can clinch this division? Because this game really speaks of who, of course, my team, the San Jose Sharks, are going to end up playing. So that's definitely one I like to talk about. Who gets this division? What do you guys think?
I'll go LA. I think Washington played great last night. Sorry. I'll go Anaheim. Sorry, I think Washington played great last night. Hope he won't be in net today. Anaheim really has something to play for. Washington clinched the President's Trophy 2 weeks ago. They've been kind of coasting since. I'll go Anaheim taking this division.
Yeah, I could see Anaheim getting it. I mean, Yeah, if Holtby's definitely not playing, I didn't know if they were going to throw him in to try and go for the record. But if Holtby's out, I see Anaheim winning this game. It means a lot more to them than it does to Washington. Washington's going to play, skate, not get injured, and go into the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm looking at the injury report right now. It's the only person they got injured is Jay Beagle. That's it. I mean, they're pretty healthy.
Yeah, and yeah, I would definitely agree. Like Anaheim could definitely take the Pacific. Definitely, what I would actually, especially for a fan like me of the Sharks, I would prefer, because I would actually like to go against Los Angeles in the first round, because the competition that you see between San Jose and Los Angeles is just unbelievable. That like it's the atmosphere, not just on the rink or in the stands, just in the city. Like the atmosphere is just amazing, and that's why I really love it. I would really love it to see that first round LA San Jose matchup.
Yeah.
I believe in I think it was 2014. I think San Jose held a 3-0 lead, and they coughed that up. I think that was to LA as well, was it not?
That was to LA. That was very upsetting for a lot of us, but it just tells you one of the examples of the rivalry that they have is I think it was also back in I think it was 2011 also, when the LA Kings, I think it was in Game 3 of the first or second round, I can't remember, where LA was holding a 4-0 lead and going into the second period of a game, and all of a sudden the Sharks just score one after another after another. By the end of the second period, the score is 5-5, and then San Jose wins in overtime. So like, you see these games, and that rivalry, it's like none other in my opinion. But like, of course, there are several other ones that I think is just so intense. But it touches heart to me to see an LA San Jose matchup in the playoffs.
Yeah, everyone loves those big rivalries. That's huge.
And then we got another game today to decide Metro seeding.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about that one.
Yeah, so the Flyers and Islanders are playing a game that was canceled back in that big snowstorm. So they're making it up today. Same thing with the Washington game. If the Islanders win the game, then they take over the 3 seed in the Metro, and they'll play in Pittsburgh. But if the Islanders lose or lose in overtime, the Rangers hold on to the 3 seed, and the Islanders will be heading to Florida. So that's a big game, just because, I mean, as an Islander fan, I'd probably rather play Florida, just because like they're not as good a team as the Penguins are. But I guess you can't be mad playing a third-string goalie in the first round either. So either of those.
Well, I think definitely, like, if you definitely want the Islanders to win, having them in position with the Atlantic Division would definitely put them in position to win easier, because we were talking about this earlier. Is the Atlantic Division is literally one of the easiest roads to the finals than any other division.
Yeah, I honestly think the wild card team, whether it's the Islanders or the Rangers, will be the favorite to come out of that side of the bracket.
Oh, I agree with you, Dan.
The Atlantic is just not good.
No, I agree.
Half of Tampa's team's out. Detroit limped in, and I can't see Florida doing it.
Yeah, Florida. I don't know. They're good on paper. I just don't see them going very far in the postseason.
And they've been like pretty mediocre outside. They had that one like 13-game point streak, but take that out. I know that's important, but the rest of the season they've been pretty pedestrian. That just kind of carried them to it.
I mean, we see it happen. I mean, like, it's really surprising to see them actually in the top of the Atlantic right now, and given that last year they were literally one of the worst teams in the NHL, which is so yeah, they're good on paper, but like they can collapse at any time.
Right. It's like almost like the Flames of last year, so where they get hot at the right time, and they find themselves in a playoff position.
And I think that's also the case for the one of the things, like if we want to move on and actually talk about this as an example, is the So the Minnesota Wild, they got in by the skin of their teeth, and that's what I kind of want to talk about. So there are a lot of teams that that do that where they don't. People feel that they don't deserve to make it into the playoffs. Do you think the Wild uh, fit that, or do you think that they just went on a huge slump in the end, and that if they can resurrect themselves, they have the chance, or what do you guys think?
Um, well, I just think based off the Wild's track record, like they don't play a bad series once they make it to the playoffs. So I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and let them play a series.
Because
Yeah, they're much better than I think Colorado is. Colorado's not in, right?
now
No,
Colorado is not, and yeah, also keep in mind that they are playing Dallas in the first round. Dallas is actually also will be missing Sagan, so that's a he's one of their top scorers. That might be a factor going into that series.
Dubnik or Lettinen? I take Dubnik.
yeah, I take Dubnik.
Because also keep in mind that I think I was watching like Dubnik play in the last couple of games. One of them was against San Jose. Is his goals against average is just it's just not been great in the last 8 games or so.
I mean, I think Dallas wins that series, but I mean, the Wild they played. Who'd they take to 7 games? Was it Chicago or who?
No, they beat Colorado in 7 games 2 years
Colorado
ago.
on the Nino Niederreiter goal.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that was a good series, and they beat St. Louis last year. They can play.
I think it's just like they have a lot of veterans on that team, and they just know how to play in the playoffs. It's a totally different season, as Rob said earlier, and they really come to play. They really do.
Yeah.
All right, so we have that, but so we talked about them making it by the skin of their teeth, and a lot of teams make it, but this year there's a lack of Canadian teams. We had yeah, literally I was just reading this is that this is the first year since 1970 that none of the 7 Canadian teams in the NHL will be participating in the Cup playoffs. Do you guys think at all that it's going to take a big hit in the ratings, or do you think that you know the North will still keep watching despite the lack of a local team?
Being from Toronto, I can tell you right now, the playoffs they're happening still. People they're trying to find an American team to like. Uh, just in Toronto, I think a lot of people are hopping on the Florida bandwagon. Many people go up there. We call them the snowbirds, so they go up there for the winter time. They come back. A lot of people like Florida, Tampa too, but yeah, the playoffs are definitely happening.
That's great. Um, and and that's the thing is because it's because so you say you're from Toronto, so like of course hockey is like literally the Canadian pastime, right?
Yeah.
So like if do people do the do those fans do they just like uh what goes with their team that they choose when comes to the playoffs? Is it just like who's hotter, or like you said you mentioned those who would choose like Tampa Bay or Florida, but what about some of the other ones?
For a personal experience and things that I've been associated with, a lot of people they like to choose the dark horse. So last year, a lot of people from Toronto jumped on the Winnipeg bandwagon just because it was the first time back in the playoffs, had a pretty good team going forward. It's really a dark horse. There's also
So
go ahead.
okay, yeah, so would you see just I would just like to hear this just because given that that's that's where people are placing San Jose at that point at the playoff course. They missing the playoffs last year, and finally coming back. Trying to redeem themselves. Do you think that will got some fans up north?
It could get them fans, but I don't think a lot of people see San Jose winning that series.
Yeah, it's I mean it's always tough. The Pacific Division is just incredibly tough this year.
Yeah, it's one of the best, if not the best. Central's pretty good, but it's like one of the best divisions in hockey. The Kings and Sharks matchup though is it'll get a lot of viewership from up north here.
That's definitely great to hear. Um, so I think one of the things we can go through now is we're going to go through each of the rounds and each of the series in the first round, and let's all say who we think is going to win that series, and in how many games and why. So let's start with the Western Conference, and let's go with the Dallas Stars versus the Minnesota Wild. What do you guys think?
Um, I think I give it Dallas in 6. I mean, Dallas just they put the puck in the net. That's really all there is to it. I mean, they scored the most goals in the Western Conference by about 50 goals. That's Chicago's close. Chicago's 30 back, but the next closest team is like 40 to 50 goals away. So they just scored 50 goals more than Minnesota did this year, and they just Jamie Benn can't be stopped right now.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'll take Dallas in 5 even. Just offensive powerhouse. You don't need Lettinen to stand on his head to win a series. Take Dallas as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys, Dallas, and I was hoping to give them 5 games also, and just that offensive powerhouse. Even without Sagan, I think they can still pull it off in 5.
Just quickly, is there a timetable for Sagan? Will he be back for the second round?
Uh, that I haven't really checked. I think he might be. He's listed as day to day, so it's kind of hard
Right
to
now, but he's been day to day for almost a month.
So he might just miss it, maybe a couple games, like depending on how many games they go in the first round. He might miss a few, and probably might be back for the second round.
All he needs is one series to go for 7. He gets a little extra days off.
Yeah.
Yep, that's definitely true. And we got okay. So our next matchup will be the St. Louis Blues versus the Chicago Blackhawks. What do you guys think?
Oh, I'll go St. Louis in 6. I think they got it this year.
I was gonna go Chicago in 7.
That'll be a tight series, though, man.
But also without Crawford's tough.
But yeah, they're riding Darling for the first couple games.
Darling was pretty good in the playoffs last year, so I don't want to pick against Kane, who's gonna win the Hart. Locked up the Art Ross already, first American ever to win it.
Yeah, you can't go against Patrick Kane's 100-point season, man.
No.
Yeah, definitely got a point there. And but what really I think is even without Crawford for a couple of games, it's definitely going to be a very close series. In my opinion, I definitely think it's going to be St. Louis in 7. So we've got a split here, but of course it's given the intensity of what that series is going to be. It's going to be a fun one to watch. I'm going to keep my eye on that one, that's for sure. All right, so here's the next one. So assuming, like what we said, assuming Anaheim gets the Pacific today. Let's say so it will be it would be the Anaheim Ducks versus the Nashville Predators.
Oh, Nashville. I don't know why. I just think it'll be an upset. Goaltending, I like Rene. I like Nashville's defensive core. I can't discount both Perry and Getzlaf, but I'll take Nashville in 7.
I'd probably go Anaheim in 7. I mean, I'm kind of like 50-50 on this because Pekka Rinne can steal a series if he's playing like Pekka Rinne, but it's not guaranteed as it was all season. But then you got Weber and Yossi, so they're going to lock down the top line for Anaheim. So if Anaheim gets their secondary scoring going, I could see him winning it. But I just don't know who to pick in this one.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're going there. It's these are two very powerful teams in their own rights, and I think with Rene, how well he's he's just always been doing as well as he's been doing. And it's definitely going to be close. Probably going to see several games going to overtime, maybe even double. It's going to be like almost all the games are going to be decided by one goal. And really, I really think that Nashville will take that in 7 games.
Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Dan, quickly, if Ryan Kessler gets hot and he pots, 4 or 5 goals, does Anaheim win the series?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right. So with that said, then the other matchup would be between the San Jose Sharks and the Los Angeles Kings.
I think I'd probably go. I give it Kings in 6.
Yeah, I'll go Kings in 5.
Yeah, I'm not picking against Jonathan Quick right now.
At the same time, though, I was talking with someone who's even a Los Angeles fan. We can all agree that Jonathan Quick, he reached his prime. I mean, he's not declining, but he's just not, of course, not as good as he was during his prime. Still a great goalie, but I think that with how complete San Jose is right now, that they still have a chance, and I think that if Marc-Edouard Vlasic, he's coming back to the defense line, and he's going to be, of course, joined by several other defensemen like Paul Martin and Brent Burns, who's in contention for the Norris Trophy, and I really think that San Jose, given that they're looking for revenge now, and I really think that they can get that revenge. I'm gonna give it to San Jose in 6 games.
Is Gabrick playing?
Gabrick will be back.
He'll be back. Okay.
Gabrick will be back.
I haven't been able to check that one actually.
I know he's day to day, but he has been for a while. I'd imagine he'll be back.
Yeah, I was on Roto World. They're like,
He skated on Friday.
oh yeah, he'll be there.
Yeah, he'll play.
But yeah, I think if San Jose really shows up and they really want that revenge, they can take it in 6.
That'll be a good series for sure. I really, Joe Thornton, man, he really, I don't know what it is about him. He's the most underrated center in the whole NHL.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he wins faceoffs and gets assists. That's all he does. Just eats up points.
And they're not secondary assists too. They're primary production points.
Yeah.
And one thing I'd also like to point out, speaking of Joe Thornton, is in the first line for San Jose is you have Joe Thornton, Joe Pavelski, their captain, and Tomas Hertl. And in just the second half of the season, Tomas Hertl literally he got I think he even got around 50 points maybe. And just that half of the season when he got promoted to the first line with the Joes, and I think that lineup itself can really, I think they can definitely challenge LA's.
Yeah, it could definitely do some damage, but Kopitar can neutralize almost any center in the league.
And he's done so too in the postseason for a good 4 years now.
And then Drew Doughty, that their top, LA Kings top line is just above most teams' top lines.
Their LA's depth, man, I totally agree. LA's depth is just there. They have it. They always bring it. It's untouchable.
Their captain plays on their third line.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, the only time you see that is in Arizona, and look at how Arizona's been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sorry, Rob.
Yeah, LA's tough.
Oh wait, I can definitely see that. I mean, LA is a really tough team. I just really hope to see at least, of course, I just want to see them go out for a fight at least. So we'll see that. We'll see what happens. Hopefully that we can win at least a few. Anyways, let's move on to the Eastern Conference. So we got the Washington Capitals and the Philadelphia Flyers. What do you guys take?
Washington in 4, man. That's Philly shouldn't even be there.
I think Philly will take a few games. They've played Washington tough. I could see. I think they could take them to 7 just based off of Washington's always underperforming as a playoff team, and Philly's coming in pretty hot. I feel like I watch a lot of Flyers games. I watch a lot of Caps games just because it's in the Metro. Just watching Philly play, their style is something that could somewhat contain Washington, but at the end you got to give it a Holtby.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. I mean, like we have like I have I've got the Capitals winning in 5 games. I'm gonna give at least Philadelphia 1 game, and right now just watching Washington play is crazy. They have I circled this like 5 times in my notes. Is they have a plus 61 goal differential. Which it's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, you don't see that, man. They got the number 2 offense in the league. I think Dallas is first, and then you got Holtby standing on his head. It's incredible.
They've only allowed 191 goals this year.
yeah, that's just unheard of. And on top of that, you have Alex Ovechkin, who's leading the NHL right now with 50 goals in the season.
Yeah, he put up a hat trick last night, eh?
Yeah, he doesn't even lead them in scoring.
Kuznetsov has been.
Kuznetsov's got 77.
It just
That's definitely exciting.
if you look at the lineups, you got Drew's line with Simmons versus Ovi and Backstrom, and then you got Couturier against Kuznetsov, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it would end up being.
It's a little mismatch there.
Yeah. I just want to see Gostisbehere steal a game. I love that kid. He's awesome.
He's a fun player to watch.
Yeah, but I mean, Washington has 3 scorers over 70 points, and then 2 more over 50.
All right, guys.
The addition of Oshie, man.
Yeah, Oshie and Justin Williams added an extra 103 points to the team.
Are you serious? They
All
both
right,
had 50 plus?
Oshie 51, Williams 52, Backstrom 70, Ovi 71, Kuznetsov 77.
Wow.
And then Johansson and Chimera both broke 40.
Yeah, Johansson's the third line guy. He's picking up maybe 15 minutes a night.
Yeah.
Wow, Washington, man, I could talk about them for days. They're so good.
They have 5 20-goal scorers. Like, they're so deep. They're so balanced. Unbelievable.
All right, so we all got them going in the second round, and now assuming that there's no change in the seed pairings, we're going to say the Pittsburgh Penguins go against the New York Rangers. What do you guys take there?
I'm giving it to the Rangers in 6.
In 6?
Yeah. I don't pick sweeps. And if Murray or Fleury does play, because I don't know the extent of Murray's injury at this point. Sometimes the Rangers just can't score, but Henrik Lundqvist will always steal you at least 1 series.
Yeah, that's very true. You can count him for at least 2 wins, eh?
Yeah, and I mean, something about the Rangers, either they're scoring 5 points or they're scoring a goal or less.
Guys like Kreider, I think, will be like one of the biggest players for the Rangers this postseason.
It just depends if Rick Nash is ever going to become a player in the playoffs.
That's true.
They're paying him a lot of money to be a 2-way forward and not score goals.
As your number 1 sniper, that's almost unacceptable.
He's been on penalty kill recently because he can't score anymore.
Really, I did not know that.
I mean, because he's fast and big. Like he's hustling, he's playing hard. He's just not putting the puck in the net.
I think one thing that we should also keep in mind too is, I definitely have the Rangers also winning.
Well,
McDonough's out and Girardi's out, and right now Zuccarello, I'm not sure if he's just resting or if he's injured, but he's listed as day-to-day.
He'll be there for the playoffs.
I think he just got to rest because Stahl's going to play as well.
Yep.
All right, but we definitely do know that we have the McDonough and Girardi are going to be out for at least a few games.
What was? Oh, he has a broken hand.
Girardi might play. Says he's expected to be back for the beginning, but yeah, McDonough shouldn't be back.
And that might hurt them a little bit, but I think that I still think they're gonna win that first round.
Yeah, I was actually gonna go Penguins in 6.
Oh,
Just
you're Pens?
Yeah, just because they're heating up at the right time.
Yeah.
Calgary, their postseason last year really stemmed from their success after the All-Star break in 2015. I see that same storyline happening here in Pittsburgh.
I would have went Penguins up until the Fleury injury.
Yeah, if Fleury's healthy, they take it in 5 or 6.
I mean, I'm in Pittsburgh right now, so I'll take a Penguins win in the city to be fun.
Oh, you gotta go to a game.
If the Islanders end up coming, I'm definitely gonna go to a game.
All right, because they could actually end up in that 3rd seed.
They could end up there, depending on tonight.
Hypothetically, Pittsburgh and New York Islanders, who you guys got?
Well, I'm obviously gonna go Islanders.
Yeah.
It's I think that'd be a hard call for me. Of course, I also have listed for the Islanders a couple injuries. You have Halak and Anders Lee out, which it might affect them. I don't know how much like how important they are to add the depth. But I think that in that hypothetical case, I think Pittsburgh would win in 6.
Yeah, Lee's a big loss. He's real important on the power play. Just parks in front of the goalie, screens it all. So that's a big loss for the power play. But Greiss has been as good, if not better, than Halak all season. So I'm not too worried about goalie. And Halak looks to come back in a week or 2.
You guys says here Hamnick will probably be out too for the playoffs.
He'll probably miss a few games. He's been skating, but
no gear though.
Yeah, that's a huge loss. He led the team in ice time. He missed the playoffs last year. That's probably why we lost in 7.
Yeah, that was a tough game 7.
Yeah, that was a brutal one.
All right, so we're gonna go through the hypotheticals again. If it's the Islanders versus the Panthers.
I'll let you take it, Rob.
Islanders 6.
I was gonna say Islanders 5. I mean, it's the Atlantic. So.
Yeah, I was going Islanders in 5. I could see the Panthers getting 1. They'll win 1 at home.
Yeah, honestly, just youth and inexperience, I think, will kind of lead to their outing this year.
Yeah, and like people will point to youth as like a strong point, but the Islanders have the same youth with 2 years of playoff experience.
Yeah, and John Tavares is
25 years old.
He's 25, Tavares.
Yeah, he's 25. Hamonick's 24. Leddy's 24.
So their core group of vets is all under 25.
Yeah, all the top scorers. The oldest scorer is a Poso. He's 27.
Man, Islanders are going to be some team in the future.
Yeah, the window's starting to open.
It's a long time coming, though, eh?
Yeah, tell me about it. I've won a playoff series since before I was born.
Sheesh. You taking DiPietro first? Was that first round? Was it first overall as well?
Yeah, first overall. He was good. He was good early on in the career. It was the 15-year contract we gave him that really set everything back.
And that rebuild again. Trust me, being in Toronto, I've been hearing all about that.
Yeah. At least you guys got Babcock in there.
Oh, playoff long dividends. But yeah, Islanders in 5 if they play Florida.
Yeah, that seems.
Rob, what you got?
I would just say Islanders in 5.
And if the Rangers get the Panthers in the first round?
Same deal. Rangers in 5.
Oh, man, we're not giving Florida any credit.
They're good, but I just don't see them beating either of the New York teams.
I totally agree. Lundqvist against like a depleting Roberto Luongo. It's a pretty easy call there.
And they're without Trocheck, who's been their hottest player the second half of the season.
But yeah, he's really been fueling.
Yeah, him and Yager have been the top two scorers since the All-Star break.
Can we take a moment and reflect about how great of a player Jaromir Jagr is?
It's unbelievable.
45 next year, and he's still lighting the lamp.
Yeah, and if he didn't take 3 years over in the K, probably a lot closer to all those records.
Oh yeah, he'll be back for like another 5 years too.
Yeah. Never retire like Gordie Howe.
Yeah.
All right, so we got this. Yeah, we had that last game. Then we have the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Detroit Red Wings.
Detroit in 7 or Detroit in 7.
I think if it gets to 7, I would see the Lightning winning, just being at home. But I'll give it to Detroit in 6. No Stamkos, no Johnson, no Hedman, no Strawman, no Kucherov, no Callahan. That's a lot. Ben Bishop can only do so much.
Yeah, I was definitely going to agree on the same thing. That I would give it Detroit in 6.
And not even that Detroit's necessarily a very good team, because I mean their scoring's really fallen off in the second half of the year. I think they're just the lesser evil of these two teams.
That's a good way to put it.
And speaking of Detroit too, is I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier. Is Pavel Datsyuk is considering leaving the NHL after this season? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I just read an article online, I think NHL.com, and he said, yeah, he's going to retire. Or he's leaning towards retirement, sorry.
Did he say he was going to play in Russia, like Kovalchuk?
Yeah, he said he was going to play for the KHL.
Yeah.
Family reasons would be his reason for return.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
Hockey Town doesn't feel the same with just thinking about him without Datsyuk.
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna set Detroit back a lot.
Yeah, definitely will.
Well, you know Detroit, man. 25 years consecutive playoff appearance.
Yeah, and I think it was in their last home game at Detroit in Hockeytown, is they had the fans were literally in unison chanting to Datsyuk. They're like, one more season. They were just chanting them to that, like just play at least one more.
That's pretty sweet, man. That gives me goosebumps just thinking about that.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me when Nassau Coliseum closed last year. I went to the last game there. It was Game 6 against the Caps. That was the best environment I've ever been in my life. You could feel the building rocking, is how loud it was. Like all the lifers out on Long Island just driving out to the game for one last time.
It doesn't beat that.
Yeah, after the series, like we lost the series, I was out with my buddies and we drove past Nassau Coliseum on the way home, and there were just like hundreds of people outside of it, just for no reason after it was closing down.
Were they streaming the game there? Or?
No, they just like went there after the game and they were just like drinking beers and just reminiscing.
Oh, beauty.
Yeah, when you have something that really makes a huge difference in the history of your club, then it's really going to touch the hearts of the fans. And like I was able to experience a little bit of this. I haven't gone to the game, didn't go to the game when this happened, but I could just feel it when I was watching it. Was when Evgeny Nabokov, one of the goalies of San Jose, decided to retire, and he went away for a little bit to Russia. He came back, played for the Islanders a couple of seasons, signed a day contract with the Sharks just to retire, and you could just, like, even not being there, you could feel the SAP Center just giving Evgeny Nabokov that last love that he needed, and that's it's a feeling that that fans can really touch on.
Yeah, just to tie it back, we talked about emotion and passion going into the postseason. This fuels it, man. People love playing for their city if it's going to be like this.
It's going to be unbelievable. The amount of passion out of each one of these teams is just I can already feel it, and it hasn't even started.
Yeah.
All right, so we have about a little over 5 minutes left. So what we're gonna do is let's actually go around and talk about the who we think is gonna be the representative of each conference, who's gonna win that finals, and how many games, and why do you think that?
Dan, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. All right, so I'll try and give you who I think is going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals also. I'll start there. Depending on Islanders Flyers today, I think whatever Metro team ends up in that wild card spot makes it out of the Atlantic. And I think they're going to run into Washington in the conference finals. And I'll give Washington the Eastern representative. And then, hold on, let me just take a look at something. Back in the West. I think I'm going to give the West to Chicago. I don't know.
The addition of a lad really sets it up for a depth chart.
Weiss gives him a lot of depth. And Ladd going up on the first line makes Shaw more useful on the third where he belongs.
Yeah, that's crazy how he plays first line minutes whenever Ladd or Hossa is not there.
Yeah, Hossa, is he back or he should be back soon?
He'll be back.
Yeah. Panarin, the 24-year-old rookie, unbelievable.
You know what? He's good, no doubt. It takes talent to put up however many 70 points, however many he's got. But he gets to play alongside Patrick Kane.
Yeah, I think I could score 20 goals next to Kane.
Right? He's giving you perfect passes in front of the net.
Every time. Anisimov has been great, though, on that line. That was a surprise.
Yeah, they really mesh well. Their second line's better than their first.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think I'm going to give it to Chicago. And then I'll give it to the Caps. And I'll give Caps in 7.
Over Chicago?
Yeah. I hate it. I hate every bit of it.
What a cup final that would be.
That would be something.
Game 7 and the cup finals are all that's the most intense you can ever get.
It'd be the Vezina winner versus the Vezina winner and the Rocket Richard winner versus the Hart Trophy and Art Ross winner and the Calder probably with Panarin.
Yeah,
potentially Norris if Keith gets it.
Wow, that's just a lot of hardware that's going to be distributed there.
Oh my God.
Let alone a Stanley Cup Finals MVP that has to be announced.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, someone's got to get that Conn Smythe.
Rob, who do you got?
I think in the West, depending, it's going to be a representative of the Pacific. I can't tell you. I can't really say who. I mean, of course, as much as I would love San Jose, that'd be incredibly difficult for them. But it's going to be, if not, it's definitely going to be either LA or Anaheim. And it's definitely tough for me. I'd actually probably give it to Anaheim in that case. And I don't know. Actually, it's really hard for me to tell, but either one or the other. And of course, Washington in the East. And I'd say that Washington will win in 6 games.
Yeah, Washington v. St. Louis, and Washington takes it. We got a big consensus there.
I mean, I don't really see that much of a surprise there. Washington, 120 points right now. They still got 1 game left.
And they've been coasting for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it's and plus 61 goal differential. Like I said earlier, they've got everything going for them.
I mean, they have the best defense and then the second best offense.
The one thing that people are going to keep bringing up, and I'll play devil's advocate right now, is lack of postseason success.
I mean, every team has that. I mean, we've seen that so many that like the Blackhawks before they won the 2010 Stanley Cup, they had a terrible playoff track record.
Yeah.
And then they all of a sudden win it in 2010, and then in 2013 and in 2015, like it's there. It's like winning a cup can change you, and really, it's like it all really depends on that passion that you have going in.
Yeah. And I think Justin Williams brings in that winning culture.
Yeah.
Coming from LA, he won 2 there.
Yeah, he knows what it takes to be there and knows what it takes to go back.
Yeah, exactly.
Washington, they just look so good.
Was Mike Richards on their team too? Mike Richards, the 4th line center for them?
For Washington?
Is he? I think he is. Yeah, Mike Richards.
Yeah, he is.
He's been there before. Brooks Orpik's been there. They got some guys.
Their first 2 lines are almost like they're disgusting.
Yeah, this team is stacked. I'm looking at it again. I forgot about Burakovsky too. He's like 21 years old. Carlson on D, Alzner. They're so good.
Their top 4D are like that's the best top 4D I've seen, aside from maybe St. Louis.
Yeah.
St. Louis have 6 really solid D, and Parayko, he's young. He's on the 3rd D pairing. Gunnarsson, Edmondson, Bouwmeester, Pietrangelo, Shattenkirk. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we definitely all have that consensus for the Capitals to win. And actually, looks like we used up all our time. Actually, we're just at about 11 o'clock, and just enough time to go through all that. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us today. That's really great conversation that we had.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Appreciate it.
We're just gonna do a quick closeout. You know, thank you everyone who here is listening on Camp Radio or tuning in via Google Hangouts. You can follow Camp Radio at Camp_Radio or at Camp Radio on Twitter and on at Armchair All Americans on for the for Armchair All Americans at AC All Americans on Twitter. And be sure to follow us. We might have another conversation if you guys want to have another conversation, maybe before the finals start.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's almost a must if we see Washington in there.
Definitely. Or maybe it's a must if we see just a complete upset. We see the all the dark horses out there.
Islanders, Sharks.
Hey, here we go.
I will literally buy tickets to that. That would be exciting. Anyways, so yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks once again, everyone, for joining in, and hope you all have a good day.